Hey gamers, welcome back to Bandit Souls Cryptic Gaming here. So we are over here upgrading ships. We have the new brig. We've named this one Prometheus. So if you look at the upgrade requirements, looks like to go from level 3 to level 4, you're going to need 50 plate glass. You're going to need 35 precision drilling bits. You're going to need 35 rubber, 25 of the orca mechanisms, 5 of the upgrade parts, and 8,000 pieces of 8. So we're gathering our 8 still. Tomorrow we'll be able to get this up to a 4. And if it continues on this rate, usually once you get to a level 5, you're going to see a change of some of those things. So maybe we won't see the plate glass. It'll move to something else. We're just going to have to wait and see how that works out. Let's show you what we've got on the build here and then take this thing out for a test. Okay, so on the weapons, I decided to use the Foul Isle on the front. That is that new ricochet weapon. It does a great job. You've got a lot of ships up around, just procking out, hitting that stuff and bouncing those shots around. Does 75% damage of the original damage dealt, so aim for weak spots, and it'll ricochet 75% of that damage out to the other ships. Then we have the Endless Requiem on the sides. These are those new torpedoes that have the guided effect, so that's really nice to have. And of course, Fire Bombard 3s on the rear. Had thought about putting darts on, but they don't have the area of effect, and these things are great when you're a pretty good ways off to just get that extra effect in there. And then of course on the auxiliary, currently the Warhammer, I've thought about maybe putting the Mine Spring Loader, but I think I'm going to wait for the Infernal Maul. This ship actually has a lot of really great abilities to add to those mine weapons, whether it's the healing or the actual explosive mines. So definitely looking at putting that on as soon as we open that up in the past. Now, armor, that's going to be pick and choose. That is up to you. For the extra DPS, I decided to go with the Buccaneer's Oath. I also use that on my Sam Buck. It's going to give you an additional 20% explosive protection, 15% on flooding, 20% on fire, and 20% on piercing damage. So that's great. You got 1200 armor value and then a 420 on the actual ranking of the weapon up there. So you get what's called blood and gold. Destroying a target confers blood and gold status onto the ship, which increases your weapons damage and your armor by 25% for 30 seconds. Doesn't say if that's stackable or not. From what I was seeing on the Sandbuck, it seemed like it was stacking up to a degree, so, or at least keeping it running longer than that. Every time you blow one up, it just keeps resetting that 30-second clock. Once you get that first initial kill, it is awesome the way that it does. Now, when it comes to furniture, we are still opening a lot of the furniture in this pass, but pretty similar to what you're going to use over on the Brigantine from back in the day. So using the water tank mainly because it's going to reduce crew stamina depletion by 50% while bracing. It's going to increase your stamina recovery by 20% as well. We're using the tuning station, which is increasing the secondary damage of torpedoes by 17%, increases projectile speed of torpedoes by 10%, and restores 5% crew stamina per second while out of combat. Then the Fontana station, this is going to increase your secondary damage of rockets by 12% and increase damage to structures by 12%. That's why we're using the Warhammer. Now, obviously, when we switch that over to a spring loader, we will end up using something like the Machinist station, which increases an area of operation of repair buoys 25%. That will be for that repair style auxiliary weapon there. Then they have some that's going to help with, your it's supposed to help with the actual spring loaders, so we'll have to find that later. But that's the practice one that you're going to get, and it also increases or decreases the reload time of anybody that you're around as far as your auxiliary weapons. So really great base stats on that. Using Torpedo Works 1, this is going to increase the elemental damage multiplier torpedoes by 19%. Of course, the torpedo furnace going to increase maximum range of torpedoes by 10% as well. So those are all great furnitures. You may have some different than I've got. That's cool. Understand you're going to be unlocking new stuff as you go through this pass here. Then ship cosmetics. This is going to be dealer's choice. So I'm still playing around with how I want it to look, but we are currently using the Dark Descent set. Kind of like the look of the sails and stuff. Pretty cool. Getting away from some of the glowing stuff we have on all of our other ships. Then, of course, Caliban's offering we have on the front. Here on the back, I went ahead and threw this bone forged on here, mainly because, hey, guess what? It kind of matches the scheme as far as the colors go. Nameplates, we went with Leviathan. I wish they had some that you could customize. Hopefully that's something they'll bring in the game later. We'll see. So, of course, using the Rictus Grin for our helm. Then the Mussolini's compass. We're using these fancy... I'm not even going to try to attempt that. Yeah, so very fancy looking. Of course, you have all these different types of crews you can use. I really hope that they come out where these add effects to the ship, whether it's reloads or whatever, would be great. I would love to see where you could actually find, say if you got 6 crew members, you can actually hire specialized crew, would be awesome, or buy them in like the black market or something. That would be pretty cool. Then, of course, your pets. We always use this Siren Soul in the center, mainly because I like to hear it holler out while you're actually out fighting. Then the Tiger's Nest, this was opened up in this season's pass. This is probably the best firework I've seen yet. Sends a ship up. It's not finished yet. It starts to move, and then Megalodon shows up and eats the ship. Very cool. You can get that at Lenitra. It costs you 50 teeth, guys. Okay, so let us go and see exactly what this ship will do now. We're going to go hit some ships around the area, whatever's up here moving around. Then, of course, we'll be doing PvP tests and stuff. Now, I feel that there's probably a little bit better weapon combination that's going to be available. This is what I'm using right now out of the pass. Of course, I love the demi cannons and things like that. I went with this Foul Isle demi cannon up here in the front, mainly for the extra crowd control. That's one of the things I love most about the Sandbuck is the crowd control on it. That was kind of sad, honestly. Must have been a bad shot. And torpedoes finished them off, so that's good. And of course that is because we're using the Buccaneer's Oath. Every shot we do is going to be 25% more. The more ships you have around, it's going to continue to stack those damage points. So get in, get your kill, and then just cut loose with these torpedoes, man, is my suggestion with this ship. I was hoping we might find something a little bit bigger we can test on here. Is that a raft? What is that? It is a raft. Let's go run them over. Well, not seeing a larger ship here, folks. Guess we could have threw some of those course mechanisms on here. Oh, there's just a ship over here. I want to try this Foul Isle again. If this thing doesn't do any better than that, I'm going to switch over to a Demi or that Pickerel or whatever the heck it is, the long gun. I know it does real good damage. Way off. I wish we could get rid of the crane and all that on the front. To me, even when it goes translucent, to me it's just kind of a distraction there. So that's where we're looking now. As far as speed, it seems like it gets its speed just a tad bit slower than the Brigantine. I think we could actually change that. There's a few furniture pieces if we wanted to put it on there. It doesn't eat through the stamina anywhere near as fast as the Brigantine does. It's more comparable to, say, the Sandbuck would be my guess on how much stamina you're going to use. It maneuvers pretty close to what a bark does. A little tighter turning than the Brigantine is, but not real sharp either, but it does a pretty good job on that. So that's what the build is that I'm currently working on, and like I say, we're going to continue to bring this up in level. We're going to continue to level up our Sandbuck and our bark, and of course we will eventually do the Snow and Brigantine builds as well. But there you have it, guys, the new Brig using the new weapons, except for, of course, the Fire Bombard. Like I say, I was hoping to see another explosive effect bombard system come out, but Maybe that's something we'll see come later in the past. We'll have to wait and see. Y'all have a wonderful night.